Hi, my name is Belkis and today I'll be making a tutorial on how to make this shirt dress I'm putting on. It is super easy to make right there in your home. Let's get started. So now you have to fold your fabric into 4. So now here I'm just folding it on the wrong side because you have to mark your chalk on the wrong side. Make sure the fabric is enough to accommodate your length and the width of your bust. So we start by drawing out a line like 1 inch. After doing that, insert the 3/8 standard to get our slope. So here I have 3 and then here I have 8. Then you come down by 1 inch. After doing that, get the slope. After doing that, insert your shoulder measurement. I'll be using 8.5. So after marking my shoulder, then we insert our vertical measurement. So my armhole line is my bust divided by 6 plus 1.5 inch, which is 8.5 inches. So that is my armhole line. Then my waist is 16 and my hip measurement is 24, and then I want the length of my shirt to be 37. And I'll also mark that. And then I'll add extra 2.5 inch because I want this to be as wide as this. I want the same allowance to be as wide as this. So here I have 2 inches. So for folding it in here, which is 1/2 inch, so I will add 2.5 inch seam allowance, which is 1, 2, then half. So after doing that, we draw straight lines. So starting from my armhole line, my waist, and my hip. After doing that, then we'll insert our armhole. For the bust measurement, my bust measurement is 42, so divided by 4 I have 10.5. Then I always, in my first video, I talked about adding an ease. This is very essential because it is better for you to have a slightly loose dress and then adjust it all than having a fitted one that you cannot adjust and it's just too tight. So I'm just going to add 1/2 inch ease. But if you want it to be a little bit loose than mine, you could have 3/4 or even 1 inch. So I'll be adding 1/2 inch to 10.5, which will give me 11 inches. And after that, I'll add my seam allowance, which is just 1 inch. Then I'll mark that. So this is my bust measurement and this is the seam allowance. And for my waist, it's 36. So when I divide by 4, I have 9. So it is also advisable. Here we are not adding any dart. So, but it is advisable you add his, maybe 1/2 inch also. So I'll make it 9.5 because it is a free shirt dress. And then for my hip, it is 44. 44 divided by 4 is 11. And I'll add just a 1/4 inch of ease, and you could add 1/2, 3/4, 1 inch as you like. So that will make mine, let me just make it 11.5. So I added 1/2 inch ease to all my measurement. And don't forget your seam allowance, just 1 inch seam allowance. And that is it. And this is the length of the shirt. I want it to be 37. And don't forget to draw the seam allowance line. So just 2.5. Okay. And we have done all that. So now we go to the armhole. Just measure the distance between here where the slope ended and the end of the armhole line. Mine is 7.5, and half of that is 3/4 inch, 3/4. Then I will come in by 3/4 also, that is 3/4 inch, which is here. Then we can draw the armhole with the French curve. So just make sure you connect the dot here. That is where we came in by 3/4 inch to the armhole line. And that is it. Then you draw a straight line to the point where the slope meets. And that is it for the front armhole. And for the back armhole, just from the straight line to the armhole line and just curve it out. And there you have your back armhole. The essence of this front armhole is to ease the movement of the hand both forth and back. So it is essential you do this. And with this, we have done. All we have to do is to connect the lines. So this is the original measurement, and these are the seam allowance. Here you could just draw a straight line to connect the points. But if you have an hip curve, you can just use the hip curve to join it together. And you have this. And also the seam allowance. And that is it. Then here, just adjust with your French curve, because you don't want sharp edges in your dress. And that is that. So now, if you want it to be a little bit flare, you could do that, but I just want a straight shirt, just like the one I'm putting on. So here you'll be using the same measurement you use here, which is 11.5. You'll be using the same thing here, because I want it to be straight, just like the one I'm putting on. And also here, 11.5. And don't forget your seam allowance. And that is it. It is super easy. Just draw a straight line. And that is it. So now we'll go to the neck. And as I've said before, like this, like the one I'm putting on, I made a 4x4. 4 for the width and 4 for the length. So I'll be making the same thing. But if you just want it to be close to the neck, just like the regular shirts, you should use 3x3. But here I'll be using 4, just like the one I'm putting on. So I'll start from here. This is 3. Then 1 inch here, it makes it 4. And then here also 4 inch. And then I'll connect it. And that is it. And for the back neck, just come down by 1 inch. After doing that, use your French curve or just freehand to do that. And that is it. Remember, we had a seam allowance to the length. So what I just do here is add my 1/2 inch allowance here. So when you sew it, you get your exact measurement. So you don't have to come down through the armhole. There's no stress for that. So just add 1/2 inch. Come up by 1/2 inch here as the seam allowance, which is much easier. Also here, so 1/2 inch up, 1/2 inch up, which is the seam allowance. And then draw a straight line to join each other. And then this is our seam allowance, and that is all. So now, first we cut the back piece before cutting the front piece. So now we cut it out. Remember, this is the seam allowance. And don't forget, we have to cut the back armhole first. And then the back neck. Don't make that mistake. You don't want to make that mistake because it is very dangerous. Then on the seam around. And that is it. So we'll remove the back fabric. So this is the back fabric. You can see the neck and then so by the time you sew in the 1/2 inch, it will be exact. And that is it. So now for the front armhole and the front neck, just fold your fabric again. And then we'll cut out the front armhole. And then the front neck. So, and that is it on how to cut the shirt dress. You can see it is super easy. So now we'll cut the sleeves. Hope my tutorial has been helpful. If it has, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Make sure you share. Thank you.